So that outside in influence where the industry, the satellite industry is now being looked upon to provide capability and capacity that it never had to provide, thousands and millions of more data bytes per day and a much wider range of data per day than what the industry ever had to provide before. And now what that's doing from the inside out, from the supply chain perspective, is no kidding. We have to be able to engineer things on a tech refresh schedule that's starting to look a little bit like personal electronics. I'll live with this phone for about 2 years, but in 2 years I'm going to expect some new capability.
Right.
So the industry is going in that way. Not every aspect of the industry, but there's a huge driving force in the industry that's setting the table for rapid, high performance driven, component level engineering, satellite system engineering, system operations. All those things are really coming to fruition right now. And that's the macroeconomic backdrop that was already in place 6-7 years ago when we launched Roccor purposefully in this direction to be a supply chain partner for deployment systems, deployable apertures, whether it's an antenna or it's a solar array to gather power. Those are the critical components of a satellite that make it functional. Everything is packaged up tightly. You launch it, then all of a sudden, boom! I pop out an antenna. Boom! Or 2 or 3 antennas pop out. Power gathering, pop out deployable radiators. The deployable appendages are what really ultimately define the capability of the bus to a first degree. So we launched Roccor in that very specific performance engineering market niche. We're going to do a better job in terms of high performance and quick turn time on development of antennas, solar arrays, deployable radiators. And then right alongside that, we started 3, 4, 5 years ago getting into some additional satellite subsystems like power management, because we're putting more power through the bus, thermal management alongside of power management. So that really was our pro forma from the beginning. We knew we had an industry opportunity. We knew that if we could bring some goodness at the component, technology provider, widget and gizmo ideas, we could come up with some good, solid ideas for how to do advanced antennas and solar arrays. We felt like the industry would want that. And that's back to what I was saying. By 3 years ago, we were closing 85% of the deals. And that was just reflective of the thirst in the industry for that kind of Kool-Aid.
Was the money pouring in from VC or PE or angels or family offices, or where's most of the money pouring in? Most of the investors, where's that coming from?
So until we sold to Redwire last fall, Roccor was completely self-funded, so bootstrap funded.
Wow.
The team of founders were able to put a little bit of money in to get things going. We were primarily, a lot of the money that came for early growth and also to build our products came from the federal SBIR program. I'm proud to show Roccor's story to the federal government every day and on the weekends, because we demonstrate, I think, what the spirit of SBIR was supposed to be about. You get smart people with good ideas. The government puts seed money behind some of what would normally be, IRAD money. So you can develop the technology, you can build up your workforce, build up your infrastructural capability at the company, et cetera, et cetera. We were also successful in getting some economic development grants from the state of Colorado. The Colorado Office of Economic Development International Trade gave us a $500,000 grant about 6 years ago that was really transformative for us and helped us build production, scaling, manufacturing cell that we needed for a commercial contract, which helped us then get that commercial contract. So we were able to put those pieces in place, a little bit of founder money, a lot of grant research money from the federal government, some economic development money from the state of Colorado. Bottom line, we were able to get the company grown to this time last year, we were at about 50, 60 employees, debt-free, with about a $15-20 million backlog of business. And we really were in a good position to then take outside capital in for the next wave of growth, which is, again, where we kind of felt like by the time we hit 50, somewhere in 50 to 100 range, we were going to be needing that. And sure enough, we're going through our second facility expansion now in 2 years. Facility expansions are expensive. Hiring staff ahead of the need on programs is expensive. So enter stage left Redwire. And this was a business deal that we closed in October of last year, and that we were working on for about a 4-month period of time, going back to about this time last year, early midsummer last year. We were starting to talk with Redwire and the Redwire investors about an interest in Roccor. And that transition went off, and it's been for us, it's been what we needed to kind of fund that next wave of growth.
And that deal's officially done, closed. The books are done on it.
Books are done on it. Yeah, we closed the deal in October of last year. So Roccor has been a part of Redwire, owned wholly by Redwire since last October. We still sort of wave the Roccor flag a little bit. It's really not the name of our business unit anymore. We are a Redwire, but we use it because of its brand equity. And so it's sort of it's evolving. The use of the name Roccor is sort of evolving right now into becoming synonymous with our engineering practices, our engineering services, and some of our products that we sell back into the supply chain, the satellite industry.
Did Roccor just add an element to what Redwire was doing? Did it complement it? Was it a new service and provider? And then what does Redwire do overall? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So about 2 years ago, going back to about 2 years ago, a group of smarter people than I, who were thinking about the industry in the same way that I am, or I should say richer people than I haven't met them, so maybe we're equally smart, but richer people than I, were looking at the aerospace supply chain problem the same way that Roccor was. In other words, they were realizing that the satellite industry was going to be transformed, that there was going to be new business opportunity, especially in the middle market, if you will, where it's the componentry, the high performance componentry that'll make constellations of satellites work. And that there was a private equity firm that was already had already deployed money on the aircraft, the aviation side of the aerospace industry, and they were looking for a play on the satellite side. And so they got together. They brought more investors in. It was a private equity fund that brought more investors in, and that fund launched Redwire.
I see.
And Redwire was launched as basically the business front to a private equity fund in early 2000. I want to say it might have been late 2019. And coincidentally, it was right around the time of COVID. But astonishingly, even though we went through a global pandemic last year, Redwire, the equity fund in Redwire, acquired 7 business units, including Roccor.
Within 24 months?
Within 12 months.
So 2019, a bunch of investors got together. They're going to dominate this space, and they start gobbling up companies, Roccor being one of them. By the way, just so you know, from a commoner's view, right, watching from a distance on LinkedIn and stuff, I open up LinkedIn, I'm like, damn, they bought another company. Holy shit, these guys are growing pretty fast.
Yeah, so that's the result of a lot of high net worth equity investors saying there's a play here in the middle market for satellite industry. And the keys were the same as the keys that we had already kind of unlocked for the Kool-Aid at Roccor. Agile development, bringing new technologies into the marketplace, doing development cycles that are quicker in general. At the same time, though, being able to build out and build capability and build credibility to a standard that the defense classified industry wants. Because while commercial space is pulling and wanting, a new cell phone in 2 years, the defense classified industry is doing the same thing. They're also basically saying, okay, great. Now what can I do with SpaceX capability? What can I do with OneWeb capability? So Redwire was launched with private equity money to go and find specifically companies around the supply chain, the lower tier of the supply chain, that allows to kind of aggregate and build a middle market critical assets provider to the industry that can go fast, but go at scale.